Hello everyone, and I am back with my thoughts and opinions on certain things and events that have happened within the professional wrestling area. This one, I've kind of tried to avoid talking about this for the longest time, though it's, the news has always been out there about this. TNA's money woes. And, well, what happened last weekend with Slammiversary and the TNA Impact tapings? First of all, I'm going to gloss over one of the issues that did happen. This one didn't affect me because I don't watch TNA Impact live. I have to catch it a little bit later on because I'm usually streaming with my buddies on Tuesday nights. So, with that being said, the problem that they had, and this is quite unfortunate for TNA Impact, was, they're supposed to do a live Impact, or at least a tape delay Impact show over the over Pop TV. Well, apparently, Pop TV had some kind of issue with their satellites, or they had some kind of issue with their broadcasting, that it was delayed by an hour. Like, literally, for like an hour on Pop TV. Apparently, they had like nothing but commercials until they were able to finally get everything back up and running, and eventually finally air Impact live afterwards. I'm not sure, like I said, I didn't watch the live broadcast of it. I'm not sure if they just aired the last hour of it, or if they, or if like TNA actually just waited until until the issues were resolved and went about the show. Like I said, I reviewed the show based off of how, off of everything I watched, which I watched at a later time. In a later time frame. Apparently, Pop TV did decide to re-air the show Wednesday night as well. If you had for people who were maybe a little bit angry or a little bit like, what's going on here? So, I mean, at least that's good, but it's unfortunate for TNA in this case because, well, people who do watch it, I know it's only about 300,000. And that number does seem very, very large considering with a lot of other things. But I mean, like in the terms of television, that's very small. And they, basically those people, expected it to come on at a certain time. It was never announced for a different time frame or anything like that. So when they tuned in, it's like, where is it? What's going on? And eventually people, I think, took the Twitter and everything like that, and people were getting informed that way. So, like I said, it was just kind of unfortunate for them in that case, because they're supposed to be doing a live broadcast, and this is coming off of their Slammiversary show that was actually pretty good to go along with it. And this is a good chance for them to try to garner some momentum. Maybe people are going to tune in. People heard that the last show was good, so they're going to tune into this show and see what ends up happening. But that might not end up being the case now because they were delayed by an hour. So we'll see how everything goes on that. But I kind of wanted to go over that one first because that is what happened with TNA Impact on Tuesday night. Now this one. This is the big one. This one's really the big one, and I am going to give my thoughts and opinions on this. The big thing that happened over the weekend with TNA Impact, and it would have affected the Impact tapings as well. Apparently, Friday and Saturday, some of the TNA officials throughout the entire weekend were having to make calls about getting finance for the entire Slammiversary show. Apparently, they were not going to be able to pay everybody right off the bat, and I guess people were finally saying enough is enough. You pay your debts, or we're not going to let this show run in any way. And some of the TNA management basically were saying, we're basically going off, we got to make calls, we got to get the finance, we got to get the finances going, and they were having a really hard time doing it. Now someone did step up, and he's somebody who's been on the show for a good chunk of time now, and that's Billy Corrin, the Smashing Pumpkins guy. He decided to help. He decided to help out and actually paid off the debts that were needed in order to make those two shows run in any way. shape or form. So outside the fact that there was thoughts of Slammiversary not airing because of what happened in Orlando that morning, but there was a chance that that might not even affected it based off of what was happening earlier that weekend as well. So there was in two occasions where Slammiversary and the TNA Impact tapings, and probably even the company itself, were going to be like, nope, we're not going to be here anymore. Which, again, like I said, reports have always been about this for months now. I hadn't talked about it until something like this had come up because, well, you don't know everything, and we really don't know everything here. We know one thing: Billy Corgan is now a minority owner of TNA Impact, and that's been the big thing right now. A lot of people feel that this company it's got issues that are just based off of image, not based off of what they're producing now. Which is semi-true, semi-not. In some cases it is with what they're producing. It also happens to be what network they're on as well to go along with it. And it's, the other aspect of it is like that image is based off of how long Dixie Carter's been in control of it, and how some people have not, especially with people that are within that company, have not really liked how she's done things in the terms of running it on the outside, not in the terms of what you see on TV in some cases. Like I said, Impact Wrestling's been actually pretty good this year. And this is kind of one of those little downers that makes you wonder, is like, that they kind of want Dixie to sell the majority. Like, she was willing to sell parts of the company, but they want her to sell the majority, where she doesn't want to do that. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her for not wanting to do that. It's kind of her, it is, since she got it from Jeff Jarrett, it's kind of her thing, and she wants to continue building it and continue being there. But I feel like an image change is in order with this company. And whether they have to rebrand the company in the terms of, and this wouldn't be the first time that they rebranded it, because you have to say TNA Impact Wrestling, because it used to just be TNA, and Impact was the show. But now they rebranded Impact Wrestling to go along with it. And, like, people are thinking, it's like, do they need to do that again? I don't think that would actually help them at all. I think there's a lot of things going on with that company that have, a lot of bad images to go along with it already in the past, and it's quite unfortunate, because we've been seeing some good stuff on TV recently, and it's actually been enjoyable to watch. It's not cringeworthy to any extent, and there was a time where, like I said, during the World Title Series, I didn't do any reviews for TNA Impact, because I knew what the review would be. It was like, this match, this match, this match, this match. They weren't going to really build too much story. The story was based off of, people building their way through the series, and then getting to the finals and into the tournament, and then eventually crowning a new world champion. And that storyline's fine, but it makes for crappy reviews, because you'd be basically spewing off the same stuff. That's why I stopped doing TNA Impact Wrestling stuff last year during that time frame, and brought it back when they came to Pop TV. They were doing the first show, crowning the new world champion, and it's like, okay, we'll watch, and like I said, I'll do reviews, and if it's just like cringeworthy and everything like that, I'll just stop doing the reviews, even though, like, in the terms of the review shows on my channel, TNA Impact gets the most out of any of them. I would stop doing it because it's just not fun. But the show's been fun this year. So, outside of like a few certain cases, it's been relatively a fun show to watch. And that's why I continue to do it. Do it to this day, continue reviewing the show. But it seems like that this company is this close to being just gone. And they do announce that they keep re-signing wrestlers, and they keep re-signing people here and there. Maybe they've gotten some finances down that will ensure that they're going to be good to go for the next X number of years. Or does, or is like Bound for Glory going to be the last thing that they do? Who knows where it is? Because apparently also Panda Energy, the people that were originally in control, well, this is where Dixie comes into play here. The people that were also in control with her had backed out a long time ago. So that's been one thing that's caused all these issues. And the issue mainly has been about pay. And not just in the terms of ring crew people and everything like that, though they deserve to get paid for what they're doing as well, because they got to set up everything. They have a very dangerous job themselves. Bad things have happened to the ring crew as well, but also the wrestlers as well. They've been not necessarily not paid, but they've been delayed on their pay in some way, shape, or form. And that's happened on numerous occasions. This is reasons why some people are kind of gone from that company now, such as a AJ Styles, a Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Austin Aries. These guys, and probably Samoa Joe to go along with it. Guys that we're seeing in WWE or New Japan now that were part of TNA were having these issues. And this is just not a good thing for a company to do. I know they're producing good television, but you just hope things kind of get in order. That's the aspect of everything right now. You just hope things kind of get in order with everything and see where everything's going. And it honestly, it will probably take one of two things for that to happen. One, Dixie Carter gives up her majority ownership, or another rebranding of the entire show itself, which the rebranding of the entire show I don't think really would be the case here. It's not an aspect that it's like that I'm hating on Dixie or anything like that, because a portion of that is an aspect of she's been owning this company and they've been producing decent television as of late, though there's been some cringeworthy stuff, and there's also been some questionable decisions that helped start bleeding this company dry. All the Hogan and Bischoff thing that went down, and just a few other things that went along with it. Apparently when they were in there, they didn't really do too much to help that company. And it is true throughout the entire thing. Like, they would go do interviews and they wouldn't mention the fact that they were doing a TNA show or anything like that. It was like, nah, it's just kind of about what they're doing. And they would never mention anything about like TNA Impact or anything like that. So some bad things kind of happened, and some bad business decisions happened, and it started really hurting that company in some way, shape, or form. So it's gotten to the point that some people don't know whether or not certain tapings are going to happen or certain shows are going to happen. Apparently they're contracted, and this has been delayed on multiple occasions now, they're contracted by one of their TV deals to actually travel to India and do shows over there. And they haven't done them yet. They've had to cancel them twice because of finances and everything in that sense. So who knows if those are going to happen, if they're going to be in breach of contract for that, and what will happen if they are deemed in breach of contract for those shows, and what would happen to the company with that as well. And these are just things that you kind of hope they work themselves out, so we can continue watching, and hopefully they continue to produce at least relatively good television. And we'll see where everything is. And I've kind of gone on a little bit longer than I thought I would with everything. And I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on everything, and kind of inform people as well what was going on in my own little way to go along with everything. So I thank you guys for watching. I'm not going to say I hope you enjoy, because it's kind of one of those thoughts and opinions, and it's not really that enjoyable of a thing to begin with. So I do thank you for watching if you stuck around for this long, and have a great rest of your day.